Welcome to Silent and Tales. I hope you enjoy this story. Now, let's begin.
In my past life, I saved a rich and powerful man. But I was too kind. I gave up my chance to leave the mountain, and gave it to my younger brother. Many years later, I learned the truth about my real parents. On the way to see them, I stopped by to visit my brother. The moment he saw me, he smirked with pride, stepped on my face, and said, "You? My brother? Look at yourself. You don't deserve that title." Then he threw me into the sea. I drowned. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day my younger brother was crying, begging me to give him the chance. "Big brother, I'm still young. Please let me go instead. Tell him to choose me." He got on his knees in front of Mr. Zhao, crying loudly. "Sir, please take me. I really want to study. If you adopt me, I promise I'll be good and listen to you." I pulled Adrian up. "Are you really going to leave our parents like this?" Mr. Zhao looked surprised. His face turned cold. "You already have real parents. Why should I adopt you?" Adrian froze. "But I have a big brother. When I grow up, I'll take everyone out of the mountain." I laughed coldly inside, pinched myself, and put on a pitiful look. "Mr. Zhao, I was kidnapped and brought to this mountain. I really miss my real parents. Please take me with you." Mr. Zhao looked shocked. Then his eyes softened. "You saved my life. I owe you." My younger brother looked at me with hate, like I had stolen his chance. He gritted his teeth and said, "Mom and Dad raised you for years. They won't let you leave." That's when I realized. He knew everything. And he did it on purpose. I looked at Adrian, my chest hurt with anger and sadness. In my past life, when our adoptive parents hit me, he would comfort me in secret. I really thought he was a good brother. I treated him like real family. So when he cried and begged me to give up my chance, I said yes without thinking. But what did I get? I was stuck in the mountain. What followed was nothing but pain and misery. When we got home, Mr. Zhao tried to convince my adoptive parents to let me go with him. But they started yelling and hitting me. "You're useless. Raising you was a mistake. You'll never escape this mountain, not ever." They hit me so hard my whole body shook. My head felt like it was splitting open, and everything went dark. But I held on to Mr. Zhao's pants and said, "Don't worry about me. Please go. If you stay, they'll hurt you too." Hearing that made Mr. Zhao feel even worse. He wanted to take me with him even more. He let out a long sigh, then turned to my adoptive parents. "How much do you want for the boy?" he asked. "Just name your price." My adoptive parents exchanged a glance, then turned to Adrian. "2 million, they said flatly. Or he's not leaving." Then my adoptive dad pretended to rush at me again, like he was going to hit me. Suddenly, Adrian dropped to his knees, fake crying. "Please don't hurt my brother. If you have to hit someone, hit me instead." "You're taking his side now," my adoptive dad shouted, like he was about to hit Adrian too. My adoptive mom quickly stepped in. "Don't be angry. Adrian's still just a kid." Seeing this, Mr. Zhao got angry. He shouted, 1 million. That's all I'll pay." But they didn't agree right away. After some arguing, they finally said yes, but only if Adrian could go too. Adrian pretended to care about my injuries. He leaned in and whispered, "Don't get too happy. I'll bring you back here soon." I didn't argue with what he said. In my past life, I never got the chance to leave this mountain. I never even saw the outside world. From the start, all I wanted was for Mr. Zhao to take me away from here. Only then would I have a chance at a better life. I clenched my fists. Same place. Same start. Same background. Let's see who really wins. After Uncle Zhao brought us home, a girl with long hair and fair skin walked over. Yuan Yuan, these are your new brothers. Be kind to each other, okay? Adrian stepped up and gently took Yuan Yuan's hand. From now on, I'll treat you like my own little sister. Uncle Zhao smiled at the scene, said a few words, then left. He still had a lot of work to do. Yuan Yuan frowned and tried to pull her hand back, but Adrian gripped it tight and wouldn't let go. I walked over. Go wash your hands before coming in. Then I grabbed Adrian's wrist and twisted it hard. He gritted his teeth in pain and let go. Yuan Yuan immediately relaxed. She gave me a soft smile and nodded. After a quick introduction about the family, the housekeeper took us to our room. Adrian looked around and got angry right away. This room is tiny. Are you looking down on me? Watch it, I might get you fired. The housekeeper got scared and kept apologizing. Yuan Yuan looked upset but held it in. This is the guest room. Just stay here for now. And by the way, this is my house. You don't have the right to fire anyone. Uncle Zhao brought us home without warning, so it made sense that there wasn't another room ready yet. But Adrian clearly didn't understand his place. He said loudly, I'm your big brother. When you get married, you'll still have to rely on me. Yuan Yuan's face turned cold. She raised her hand and slapped him across the face. Adrian flared up. I thought I was part of the family. I didn't think you'd treat me like this. Their shouting drew Uncle Zhao over. When he saw the red mark on Adrian's face, he shouted, Yuan Yuan. That was too much. Standing in the corner where no one could see, Adrian gave her a smug, mocking smile. Yuan Yuan was about to explode with anger, but I quickly stepped in to stop her. Uncle Zhao. This time, it really was Adrian's fault. What happened? He asked. I said calmly, he didn't like the guest room and demanded to take Yuan Yuan's room. That's not okay. Yuan Yuan quickly added. Dad, if he really wants that room, let me move my things out first, then we can talk. The two of us teamed up, and Adrian turned bright red with anger. Uncle Zhao looked at his daughter and noticed the sadness in her eyes. His face turned cold. I think this room is just fine. What do you think, Adrian? Scared, Adrian quickly nodded and agreed. Adrian stayed quiet for a few days. He didn't bother Yuan Yuan or me. But then, he turned his anger toward the housekeeper. At dinner, the housekeeper was setting food on the table. Suddenly, Adrian stuck out his foot. The housekeeper didn't see it coming. He tripped, hit the table, and hot soup spilled all over him. He cried out in pain, then looked around, scared and shaking. Tears filled his eyes as he apologized to Yuan Yuan. Adrian walked over and kicked him to the ground. Looking down with a cold smile, he said, TSK. Can't even handle something this simple? Just wait till my uncle gets back, I'll have him fire you. Yuan Yuan snapped, help him up. What are you doing just standing there? Adrian replied. Yuan Yuan, I know you're kind, but someone like him doesn't belong here. She glared at him and said. Adrian, this is my house. Who do you think you are, acting like you own the place? I stepped forward and helped the housekeeper up. It's okay, I said gently. Go get changed, I'll take care of this. Adrian sneered at me. Low-class people always defend each other. You're all the same. I looked him straight in the eye and said coldly, he's here to work, not to be treated like a slave. If you don't even know how to respect people, you're worse than an animal. The moment I finished speaking, the room fell completely silent. Someone began to sob quietly. Even Yuan Yuan looked at me differently and whispered, how can two brothers be so different? So I told them everything, who I really was. Yuan Yuan blinked her big eyes. Then she smiled and patted my shoulder. No matter what, I'll protect you, she said. I couldn't help but laugh. After that, Adrian Lee's true colors were exposed. When Uncle Zhao found out, he stayed calm and said, Adrian, this is your last chance. If you still can't behave properly, I'll send you back to the mountains. Adrian immediately dropped to his knees and kept apologizing. But Uncle Zhao stepped back and said coldly, "There's no need. I've had enough." Then he turned to me and nodded with approval. "Erically, if there's anything you like, just tell me." I quickly replied, "You've already been very kind to me. I don't need anything more." I added softly, with a hint of sadness, "If possible, I just hope you can help me find out if my parents are still alive." He smiled warmly. "You're a good child. Don't worry, I'll do everything I can to help." And he kept his word. That afternoon, Uncle Zhao took me to the police station to register my DNA. Adrian Lee mocked me again. "Can't wait for your poor parents to come find you, huh? When they do, make sure you get out of the Zhao family." He still believed that the Zhao family's future belonged to him. But the truth was, being adopted by a wealthy family was already a huge blessing. Sadly, Adrian didn't know how to cherish it. He ruined everything with his own hands. Uncle Zhao helped us enroll in school. The school was full of rich kids. Every student there looked naturally elegant and refined. I took a deep breath, but I was still nervous. Adrian turned to the teacher and said, "My brother doesn't know much. I hope you can be understanding." Some students laughed at me. But I ignored them and kept my eyes on the packed schedule pinned to the board. This was the life I had dreamed of in my past life. Back then, my adoptive parents didn't let me study. I had to quit school after middle school. They made me work in the fields every day, and it left me with many health problems. After we got home, I asked Uncle Zhao to hire a tutor for me. I studied from early morning to late at night, just to catch up with the others as fast as I could. Adrian didn't think like me at all. The students at this elite school were usually polite. Because of their family reputations, they wouldn't bully others directly, but they didn't mind being flattered. And Adrian had become one of those doing the flattering. "Move. You're blocking young Master Ching," he snapped. I didn't respond. I just stepped aside and let the so-called young master pass. Then Adrian sneered. "Low-class people will always be low-class. No manners." The whole class turned to look at us. People started whispering. They were clearly waiting to see some drama. I smiled and replied, "What do you mean by low-class? Aren't we all equal? We all live under the same flag. Why do you act like some people are born better than others?" Leon Chang's face changed slightly, then smiled and said, "You're right, Eric Lee. Everyone is equal." He turned to Adrian and warned, "Watch your mouth." Even though many students at this school came from powerful families, none of them dared to say they were born superior. The bigger and older the family, the more they cared about image and manners. If anyone dared to say something like that, their elders would teach them a harsh lesson. In serious cases, they could even be kicked out of the family. "Why, young Master Ching, didn't you just say?" Before Adrian could finish, Leon Ching slapped him hard across the face. He froze, holding his cheek in shock. "Don't call me young Master Ching. I don't dare accept that title." I looked at the scene and smiled quietly. After everything that happened, my classmates began treating me differently. I slowly blended into the class. At least on the surface, everyone treated me quite well. A few rich kids even invited me to hang out with them. Uncle Zhao was clearly pleased with me. He handed me a black card. "Go out, have fun, and make some good friends," he said with a smile. "Uncle, I want one too." "That's not fair," Adrian complained. "It's perfectly fair," Uncle Zhao replied, pulling out our grades from this semester. He frowned at Adrian. "Stop wasting time on meaningless things. Do you really think people will respect you for that?" Although Uncle Zhao wasn't pleased with Adrian, he still hoped to guide him back onto the right path. But unfortunately, Adrian didn't understand his good intentions at all. One day, we went to a club after school. Adrian bent down to pour drinks for our classmates. "He looks like he has a tail wagging behind him," someone joked. "Yeah, like a little dog." Haha. Everyone laughed loudly. Adrian gave a stiff smile and didn't dare say a word. He just laughed along with them. Lianqing waved me over to sit beside him, then told Adrian to pour me a drink. Adrian's face darkened right away. He froze, gripping the bottle tightly, like he wanted to smash it over my head. What now? I told you to pour. Can't even do that? If you don't want to, then get out. I gently patted Leon on the shoulder. Don't get too angry. It's bad for your health. Maybe drink a little less too. Leon's eyes were smiling, but his voice was sharp. Humph. You dare give me advice? Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine. I leaned slightly to the side, and just like that, a glass of ice-cold wine came pouring down, right on Leon's head. Leon grabbed a wine bottle from the table and smashed it over Adrian's head. Adrian screamed in pain. Red wine ran down both sides of his face. I leaned back on the sofa, crossed my legs, and watched coldly. I just wanted to help you cool off, Adrian stammered. I didn't mean any harm. Leon's voice turned cold. Are you stupid? Can't even tell good intentions from bad ones? Meeting you must have used up all my luck. Adrian turned to me, angry and desperate. I'm your brother. How can you just sit there and watch me get beat up like this? Seeing his pitiful expression, I slowly stood up and picked up another bottle of wine. Leon leaned back lazily on the sofa, eyes half closed and sparkling with amusement, quietly waiting to see what I would do. Adrian's eyes lit up when he saw me move. I knew it, you've always had my back, he said with a hopeful smile. I walked straight up to him, coldly staring at that pathetic, fake smile, and poured the entire bottle of wine right over his head. The alcohol touched his open wound, and he screamed in pain, rolling on the floor. I smiled. Come on, little brother. It's just for disinfecting. Hang in there, haha. The whole room burst into laughter. Leon was laughing so hard, he doubled over on the sofa, shaking all over. I grabbed his collar and pulled him up. Stop laughing. Drinking and laughing like that is bad for your heart. All right. I'll listen to you, he said, still laughing. Everyone else in the room was shocked. They couldn't believe what they saw. Lianqing was a true young master, born into one of the richest families. No one else in the room could match his background. He'd been treated like royalty since childhood, people were too afraid to even joke with him. But me? I never asked him for anything. I treated him like a regular guy. And that's exactly what he liked about me. Over time, we grew close. After Adrian was taken to the hospital, I stayed and hung out with the others for a while. But I started to feel a bit uneasy, so I stepped outside to get some air. As I walked past the restroom, I heard banging on a door and someone crying for help from inside the women's restroom. This place was full of rich and powerful people. At first, I didn't want to get involved. But the noise kept getting louder, and I don't know why. I just felt like I had to see what was happening. Then I saw a girl being pushed into a corner by two men. Her face was covered in tears. She tried to fight back, but she couldn't stop them. She kept screaming in fear. In that moment, something hit me hard in the chest. I couldn't breathe. My whole body froze. It felt like someone was screaming inside my head, "Help her. If you don't, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Before I knew it, my body was already moving. I ran straight into the women's restroom. Inside, the two drunk men were pulling at her arms. I grabbed a broom nearby and swung it at them as hard as I could. Huh? Who the hell are you? They turned around and started fighting me. I gritted my teeth and shouted at the girl, "Run. What are you waiting for?" The girl suddenly came to her senses. She ran out of the restroom, yelling for help. I stood behind her, blocking the way. I wasn't going to let them follow her. The two drunk men were furious. Who the hell are you? Trying to be a hero? You're not getting out of here alive. but they were both drunk. After a few quick moves, I knocked them down right there. I sat down against the wall, catching my breath. Then I heard rushed footsteps heading toward the restroom. Manager Lou burst in, took one look, and shouted, "My life is over." He froze in shock at the sight of the two men lying on the floor. His face turned pale, like the soul had just left his body. "Get them to the hospital. Now." After hearing what happened, Manager Lou patted me on the shoulder and said, "Eat well tonight, okay?" I looked at him. We both gave a bitter smile. The girl was still shaken. Her family came quickly to take her home. After what happened, I couldn't stay and play anymore. I sent a message to Lian Cheng, then rushed home and told Uncle Zhao everything. Feeling down, I said, "Uncle, if they come looking for me, you can hand me over." Uncle Zhao looked upset. "After all this time, you still don't see me and Yuan's family?" I lowered my head. "It's because I see the Zhao family as my own that I regret what I did. If those two families team up, your household might get dragged into trouble. You're still just a kid. Let the adults handle this." Then he told the housekeeper to take care of me. Yuan saw that I was still feeling down. She walked over, looked at me gently, and said softly, "Dad has seen you as part of the family for a long time. So don't worry." I froze for a moment. They really had treated me so well. I couldn't help but say, "You're all such good people." Yuan just smiled without saying a word. Just like I thought, the Huang and Su families finally showed up. They demanded that Uncle Zhao hand me over. "He's just an adopted kid. Surely you won't mind letting him go, right, Mr. Zhao?" But Uncle Zhao stayed calm. "Eric may have gone too far. I'll come apologize another day. For now, please head back." Right then, a tall man, almost 2 meters, stepped out of a luxury car. He walked up slowly, cracking his knuckles as he moved. But Uncle Zhao didn't flinch. He clapped his hands, and a group of bodyguards rushed over to stand protectively behind him. The tall man sneered, "So this is all the Zhao family has to offer in the capital? Don't make a decision you'll regret for the rest of your life." Everyone in the Zhao family went silent. From their reaction, I finally understood how serious the trouble I had caused was. The Huang and Su families had been allies for generations, practically inseparable. In the business world, their power ran deep. If they attacked together, they might not destroy the Zhao family completely, but they could still take everything away. Just as I was about to step out, several black cars pulled up in front of the Zhao home. One of the men from the opposing side laughed loudly. "The Zhao family really made too many enemies. Looks like you'll collapse without us doing anything." Uncle Zhao's face turned pale. Everyone in the Zhao family was gripped by despair. Just then, a middle-aged man in a sharp black suit stepped out of the car. He carried an air of authority. His sharp eyes scanned the crowd, then stopped on me. He smiled and said, "Today, we came to thank you in person. Thank you for saving my precious daughter." That's when I realized, the girl I saved was the daughter of the head of the powerful Wang family. At the same time, the phones of the Huang and Su families started ringing nonstop. When they picked up, panicked voices shouted from the other side, "Why? Why is the Wang family attacking our businesses? It's over. We're finished." Within just a few days, they didn't even get the chance to declare bankruptcy. The Wang family took everything, down to the last piece. To show his gratitude, the head of the Wang family personally discussed a business partnership with Uncle Zhao. Overnight, the Zhao family's status rose several levels, putting them among the top elite. For some reason, I felt a strange connection to the Wang family. Maybe it was just the way someone poor like me looked up to power and wealth. Thinking about the girl I rescued that night, I asked politely, "How is your daughter doing now, sir?" Mr. Wang smiled warmly. "She's doing much better. She keeps mentioning you. You're welcome to visit us anytime." I thought he was just being polite, so I smiled and nodded. After all the chaos, my life slowly went back to normal. Adrian Lee, the one with terrible EQ, finally left the hospital. But instead of changing, he caused even more trouble. Uncle Zhao was completely disappointed in him. One day, Uncle Zhao suddenly said to me, "I want you to be the heir of the Zhao family." I was so shocked I couldn't even speak. I shouted, "Yuan Yuan, call a doctor. Dad's perfectly fine." Yuan laughed. I stammered, "But, she's your only daughter. How could I possibly take her place?" Yuan gave a sad smile and slowly shook her head. "I'm not good at business. Dad once thought about finding a capable son-in-law to take over, but he was afraid someone might steal everything from us." Uncle Zhao looked at me seriously and handed me a folder. "Would you be willing to become my son?" His eyes were full of hope as he looked at me, but I could feel the tension in his body. I stared at the folder in silence for a moment, then asked, "Aren't you afraid I'll ruin your family business after I take over? Aren't you afraid I'll betray you and kick both you and Yuan out of the house? Aren't you afraid I might be a bad person?" Those 3 questions weren't just for him, they were a reminder to myself as well. But Uncle Zhao simply smiled and said, "I've never once regretted my decision." He stepped forward and gently patted my shoulder, as if placing the future of the entire Zhao family in my hands. Since taking on this new role, Uncle Zhao often called me into his study. Every day, he taught me about business, social skills, and how to read people. Sometimes, he even brought me to big events in the business world. When I was able to name everyone at the party, Uncle Zhao finally nodded with satisfaction. "All right. Go have some fun." I smiled awkwardly and glanced around the room. Liancheng was surrounded by people, looking clearly annoyed. Noticing the amused look on my face, he pushed through the crowd and walked over. Grinning, he said, "Eric, did you change your last name to Zhao now?" I nodded. "Something like that." We looked at each other and laughed. This party wasn't open to just anyone, only close family or chosen heirs were allowed through those doors. From the moment I walked in, everyone from the major families knew exactly what the Zhao family was planning. Suddenly, a waiter came up to me and whispered, "Young Master Zhao, the head of the Wang family would like to see you." Leon heard it too. He froze for a second, then smiled and said, "Go on." "That's a good sign." Mr. Wang and his daughter were sitting on the sofa when I walked in. Miss Wang stood up, smiled, and gave me a polite bow. "Long time no see. Thank you for saving me last time. I've always wanted to thank you in person, but this is the first chance I've had. I'm really sorry." The waiters began to serve one delicate dish after another. Mr. Wang pointed to the seat next to him, so I sat down. His daughter kept chatting with me, cheerful and friendly. Mr. Wang also joined the conversation from time to time. "I always thought big families had a lot of strict rules," I said. Mr. Wang chuckled. "They do. But only the old, stubborn ones upstairs care about those boring rules." I took a deep breath. Was I really hearing secrets from one of the top families? Would I even live to see tomorrow? Seeing how nervous I was, Mr. Wang burst out laughing. I gave an awkward smile and just wanted to find a hole to hide in. Then he suddenly said, "I heard you've been looking for your birth parents." I looked up. "Do you know something about them?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he began talking about the time when the Wang family was fighting over who would lead. Back then, in the middle of all the chaos, he lost his own son. Then, he looked at me, his eyes soft and gentle. My heart suddenly started beating fast. I broke into a cold sweat, feeling tense all over. Something didn't feel right. It was like I was about to lose my mind. After a long pause, Mr. Wang said, You are my son." I gave a weak smile. "That can't be true." Miss Wang, sitting next to me, suddenly started crying. She threw herself into my arms. Without thinking, I held her. Mr. Wang went on, "This is your sister, Yu Wang. You two are twins. Don't you see how much you look alike?" And I'm sure you've felt it, that strong connection between you two. That day, when you passed by the club, she suddenly wanted to go in, even though she never goes to places like that. And you also felt something that made you run in to save her, didn't you? Everyone in that club was either rich or powerful. Back then, the Zhao family was only third tier. So what made you want to help her? I thought back to that moment. My chest tightened. My mind went blank. Mr. Wang was right. You was still crying. My shoulder was already soaked. A bit stiff, I gently patted her back and said, "Don't cry. I'll protect you." Then, Mr. Wang pulled out a DNA test result. It confirmed everything. I really was his son. Mr. Wang gave me some time to think, then took me back to the Zhao family's house. When I got home, I was still in shock. My mind was spinning, and I couldn't calm down. My adoptive father was away at a meeting. I planned to tell Yuan first. But the maid said she wasn't feeling well and had gone to bed early. I stood in front of her door, unsure if I should knock. Just then, I heard a strange sound coming from inside. Because I had lived in the deep mountains for years, I had learned to listen carefully, trained to catch even the slightest sounds to avoid wild animals and danger. I lay flat on the floor. The sound became clearer. I could tell Yuan wasn't asleep. But no matter how many times I called her, she didn't answer. I stepped back, held my breath for a few seconds. Then I kicked the door open. The loud noise brought the housemaids running. "Don't come any closer. Stay right there," I shouted, then rushed into Yuan's room. What I saw made my blood boil. Adrian Lee was trying to touch Yuan, who was unconscious on the bed. His hand was on a very private area. When he saw me burst in, he froze in shock. My mind went blank with rage. Without thinking, I tackled him to the ground and began to hit him. Then I dragged him out of the room. The senior maids who had worked here for years quickly understood what was going on. I looked at them and shouted, "Tie him up. We'll wait for the master to deal with him. No one says a word about this. And no one leaves." Everyone fell silent. They had never seen me this angry before. Without hesitation, they followed my orders. While Yuan was still unconscious, I asked one of the female maids to check on her. If anything was wrong, we'd just say she was sick. We couldn't let her find out what had just happened. Just then, my adoptive dad came home. He quickly pulled me into his study and asked anxiously, "How's Yuan? Is she okay?" "She's fine. She was just in a deep sleep." Adrian Lee didn't have the chance to do anything, I replied. I let out a sigh of relief. If I had come back a little later, or hadn't broken the door, something terrible might have happened. My dad clenched his teeth. He's going to pay for this. After we talked for a bit, he finally calmed down. "You did really well. Thank you so much," he said, even bowing his head to me. I was shocked and quickly helped him up. "You're my dad. Yuan is my sister. We're family." He smiled, looking touched and proud. Then I told him, in simple words, about the Wang family and my past. He pretended to be angry. "I just got a son, and now they want to take him away?" I laughed and joked, "Looks like I've got two dads and two little sisters now." My adoptive dad and I went to check on Yuan. She seemed completely fine, and we both breathed a sigh of relief. As for Adrian Lee, there was no way he could escape punishment. Everyone thought he was sent back to the mountains. But in truth, my dad had him locked up in a mental hospital. He had to pay for what he did. Later, his parents came to the capital when he stopped sending them money. When they found out what had happened, they tried to attack me. But things were different now. I wasn't the same weak person they used to look down on. So I let the whole family stay together. In that same mental hospital. They finally got what they deserved. I was finally accepted into the Wang family and added to their family records. When Liancheng heard the news, he smiled and said, "Looks like I'll be counting on you from now on, young Master Wang." I smiled and patted him on the shoulder. A few years later, I passed the family's test and officially became the next heir of the Wang family. Because of that, Mr. Zhao no longer saw me as his adopted son. But my bond with Yuan Yuan had changed. I held her in my arms and smiled, "See? In the end, my dad is still my dad." Yuan Yuan giggled and gave me a playful punch. Startled, I quickly caught her waist. "Careful. You have to watch out for the baby." And just like that, everything finally felt right.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.